Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and today we are going to do our final wrap up for the Alpaca Direct Kelly's Kit Club, I think it's called. Yeah, Knit Club. Kelly's Knit Club. It's on the plastic bag. Oh my goodness, you guys. So, as I said in my show and tell that was up hopefully on Thursday, I'm having an issue with words. Not that that's unusual for my channel, but I am definitely having a hard time going from point A to point B in my brains and getting it out of my mouth. Make sure I have all my projects out here. So, Alpaca Direct's subscription box is $34.95 before tax and shipping. It makes no guarantees other than that, I don't think. Month one, we got 3 balls of this Adrafil knit coal. And I was so excited to get working on this because how happy are those colors? The patterns we got were the Eyelet Cowl. And that is Plymouth Yarns pattern. Very, very nice. Ooh. And the other one was designed by Kelly Hobart. And there was these mitts. And those are called mitts or mittens. And they're the convertible flappy. Yeah. So I opted to do, and our extra this month was the light bulb style stitch markers, which now, this can go up there. So I had 1.5 balls left over of the knit coal. I just made the cowl. I didn't do anything else with the rest of the yarn. I just stuck with the cowl. Oh, I still haven't blocked it. It's been sitting out here. I have no excuse other than sheer laziness why I haven't blocked this. It's been 3 months, almost 4 months, and I still haven't done it. It's not the season for cowls here. It's not the season for scarves, really. But love the colors. Love the way this worked up. It was exciting colors to get when it was still winter here. I'm happy. I am completely content with this month's. I have 0 issues with it. I saw where a lot of people had done the mittens, and those are so stinking cute. Absolutely love them. Month 2, we got the Mossy Groot Cowl. This is the to show you the whole thing. This is what it looks like. It is by the time you're done sewing everything together, it is a huge tube. Huge tube. I mean, mine's 18 inches long, seam to seam, or down the straight seam. And then it comes down in an irregular point, like this. So it makes it naturally offset. It's really weird. Part of that is where it's knit on the bias, so it's not truly a rectangle. I don't know if you've ever knit on the bias like that, but yeah, it's really, really cute on. It's really weird. It's a lot of, for me, it's a lot of fabric around my neck, but this is super cute. And because the yarn, it's Sueño by Haiku. It's 80% merino and 20% viscose from bamboo. I mean, it's warm down here, not like hot, but you just putting this on, like, I'm not hot. It breathes nicely. It's beautiful to work with. It's got a very durable feel to it, but not a rough feel to it at all. It's airy, not so much squishy. But the fabric, like when it's bundled up around your neck, is very squishy. So it's a unique fiber. This pattern actually had skill building in it. So number one, you had bias stitch, you had a moss stitch, striping. You also had 2-color I-cord bind off, which was a lot of fun to do. Plus you had the seaming of an irregular shape. Which is for the, I mean, I tried to block this to make it more regular, and that didn't work. I like the way she, in the videos, walks you through, and I didn't, where's the, I may have left the pattern actually upstairs, so I can't remember who, if this was another, no, this is by Jana Markova. Mossy Groot Cow. I don't know if the intention was for it to be off kilter like that so much. Mine did not block straight at all. I couldn't make it block straight if I wanted to. This is the month we also got the tote bag. And I mean, this isn't like, you know, massive high quality tote bag, but this isn't like the super cheap, it falls apart before you even finish a convention kind of tote bag either. It's that perfect middle ground tote bag. It has features that I really appreciate, such as the ring that you can put stitch markers on or hook your keys if you're going to a knit night. Place for your water bottle, and I had like the scrappy balls of yarn. We had 200-gram hanks, and I had, well, I grabbed my leftovers. This is the leftover of the green color. I didn't have too much more. There it is. Stuck in that bag for some reason. That's the leftover of the white. It would have been a little bit more even, but I made a boo-boo that meant I used a little bit more of the green than I should have. But you can see, you know, that nice spin to it. It's very, very smooth. It was, I mean, I was impressed with this yarn as far as it felt nice quality and durable, but also very yieldy. It went on the needles very nicely. It moved really well on the needles. I know that this isn't their house yarns, but these are the yarns that they're choosing to do these patterns with and send out. And I was impressed with all 3 months for different reasons. This is definitely a yarn I would buy again. And with Kelly's Knit Club, one of the really cool things is as long as you're a member, you get coupon codes for the yarns that are sent out that month. Plus other things. There's other things that are on sale to Knit Club members. Like 1 month it was Chalgu needles, things like that. But having that almost at the price of sale, discount what you're getting in the box to be able to rebuy the yarn if you wanted to do something in another color. This is one I would have been more tempted to buy again. It really was nice. The retail price for these hanks appears to be $16 on average. So I really kind of dig the yarn. I'm torn on the pattern because I really love the aesthetic of it. I love the idea of it. I just don't know that I'm going to get that much wear out of this garment. But this is a colorway that would look really good on my mom. I actually was showing it to her earlier today. And she's like, maybe. Month 3, we got, sorry, I have everything in little sections here. We got a very large roll of what I consider to be highlighter tape. It's more like Scott's tape than washi tape. Washi tape is a paper tape. This is more like standard traditional clear tape. But this is amazing for highlighting like repeat rows and sections and patterns. I love highlighter tape. I use it a lot on cutting mats and things like that because you actually get a ridge on it and things, but highlighter tape to me is a really cool thing. So this month's, the third month's yarn was this cordeline, and this is the Bravo Alpaca, and it's a 100% baby alpaca. I told you guys when I unboxed this that I kind of went as I reached in. I was not disappointed at all working with it. So this is the finished shawl. This is the Love and Hope shawl, and this is by Kelly Hobart. Now, this is the only picture of it. From the picture, you would not know that there is a sawtooth pattern on the bottom or on the other opposite end. This was beautiful to work up. I have not trimmed my ends on it. I was debating on blocking it, but the truth is everything laid perfectly straight off the needles. It doesn't need to be any larger, and I'm not a perfect like stitcher or anything, but even my stitches look perfect. Like this yarn really makes you a better knitter, or at least makes your finished objects look better. Even my picots, none of those are getting flippy and flipped up and twisted around or anything like that. It just lays like magic. So the skill building in here were cables across the top edge here. You also had the short row decreasing to create the sawtooth. And then on this end, you had a picot bind off. So you had a lot going into this that was kind of intimidating. This was definitely more of an intermediate pattern. Now they did have like 14 or something, 12 to 14 alternative patterns that you could do on the website. Some of them were paid for, some of them were free. But you do have to be a active member of the club to look at those patterns. And I made the mistake of canceling my subscription before I finished my project. So I can't go back and check that. And I didn't think to make notes of it. So other benefits, before we get to the math, other benefits to the subscription club. And that we got 100 gram of the gray and then 250 gram balls of the colors. There are instructional videos, and Kelly seems to, I'm not sure if Kelly Hobart is the owner, but she seems to be, if not the owner, she is the primary face of Alpaca Direct. Once again, I try to go into these as blind as possible, knowing as little. And after 3 months, that's what I came to realize, is she's either the owner or she is the face of the company. She does all the videos on their YouTube channel, which I will link down below as well, where they show you what's in the boxes, and show you the pattern that is being sent, finished. So you get these tutorial videos. They don't walk you through the whole project, which is really how I prefer to do things. It walks you through the technique and where the technique is being used. I did use a couple of the videos to make sure I understood the construction of the mossy Groot cowl. The directions were perfectly written, but there is no... I prefer at the end of a pattern for there to be some kind of graph or picture that shows you that's it. I mean, no, I mean, that's like not it. There's other instructions in here, but I prefer like a final blocking diagram or something like that to be in there, so you're not blind to the shape you're making. Same thing with the Love and Hope shawl. That's the only picture of it. So because you're only seeing the bind off side and the top edge, I had no idea there were supposed to be saw teeth. So when I saw these bind off sections, that was a little weird. So those video tutorials show you all of that in their own little segments, and they're very clearly labeled. How to do the stranding, how to do the decreasing, how to do the cable, how to do, and that those video tutorials came along with month 2 and 3 while I was here. The pattern I chose for month 1 was the beginner's pattern, and this is a very simple lace pattern. When I did it, I did not see any video tutorials for this, but you don't need a tutorial for this. There were, however, tutorials for the gloves, which are a little bit more involved. Those are only accessible through the Kelly's Knit Club link on their website, and you only have access to them through your own membership. The moment you cancel that membership, though, you do not have access to the patterns, and you do not have access to the tutorial videos anymore. So if you do decide to do this club, wait until you finish your last project before you decide to cancel. That's all I'm going to say about that. And that's on me. I should have known that. That was my fault. Their website is a modern website, so there's no delays in information. I should have known better. I'm not going to blame them for that. We had a very nice combination between the patterns that were sent to us and the patterns that were available online as substitute options between beginners, advanced, and intermediate options. They really ran the gamut in skill level. I like the fact that even in some of the patterns, they tell you what your skill builder stitches are. Some of these things, are marked beginner, intermediate, and advanced. But if you are an experienced knitter who's looking to try a couple of different techniques, maybe it's in a similar, like I've seen the sawtooth shawls before. I've made the stepping up shawl from Karen before, and I've seen the hitchhiker shawl. I'm pretty sure I own a copy of that somewhere. So like that was normal for me, but like I had never done an edge cable before. With the Mossy Groot Cowl, I've done I-cord bind off, but I had never done 2-color I-cord bind off before. So even, at my skill level, I was using the stitches I already knew in a unique way. And that's something I've really gotten away from discussing with these subscription boxes, because so many of them really are geared towards beginner stitchers. Nice quality yarn, patterns for beginners. Because they have so many alternative patterns on their website, I think they're sending a really nice complement pattern to the yarn itself. And that's their focus in the box. But you do have alternative options available to you through their website. And I mean, there were some beautiful patterns out there for the Sueño and for the Coeur d'Alene. So, and the Coeur d'Alene, they had so many options. I mean, there were hats, there were other wraps, and that yarn is just, it is. When you squish down on it and really feel the texture of the whole yarn, it feels very silky and satiny. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but there's some really loud birds right outside my window. So the core of it is very, very beautiful, and it just glided on my Chalgu needles. But then the fluffy texture over it, definitely highly recommend the Coeur d'Alene yarn. And I forgot to show you all my leftovers. I really didn't have a whole lot left over, so that's all I had left over. The light purple, dark purple, and gray. I think I have like 30 grams total between all three. So all in all, I was very impressed with the combinations. We have a very distinctly different aesthetic with each group. This was very refreshing to get in the middle of winter. This was a little odd for spring, but the yarn itself really lends itself to being worn in the spring. And this is probably a little bit warm for spring where I live, but if you're any more north than I am, we're still having mornings that are freezing. In particularly, this would be beautiful, but it breathes so nicely. And the stitches are very open. It was done on a size 7 needle. So it's a very open, light, airy. So I was impressed. So the last thing for me to get to is the cost. So overall, before tax and shipping, I paid $104.85 for 3 months. It's a lot of money. I mean, that's... But before tax and shipping, real value, if I were to go out and buy this, was $150.76. So the total savings on this was a little over 30%. Monetarily, I think you're getting a good deal. For me, after tax and shipping, it was $42.30. I can't say that I feel like at any point I was shorted, ripped off, didn't get what I paid for. I 100% feel like I got the value. If I were at a store and I saw a baby alpaca shawl for $40, I would have bought this. Like I would buy this at that price point. I only used half of the yarn for this, but at the end of the day, you know, the value on this box was $46. So I paid $35 for it. I could easily make a second one of these. So if I were buying, you know, 2 for like my stepson's girlfriends, I paid $30 for 2 cowls. I mean, and with this one, I probably wouldn't buy this pattern, but I would buy a garment like this, similar to this, for $35. And I mean, and that's the thing. I feel like the combination of the fun of making these things, what I actually paid for the, yeah. And when I say this is $150 worth of value, well, if I made a second cowl, I mean, I'd have to say, yeah, I mean, I can easily see that. The fact I only paid $105 for it, though, makes me very happy. So yeah, 30% savings. I was happy with the experience of working the projects. I was happy with the combination of things made available. Kelly is a very good tutorial maker. She is very clear in her stitches and explanation. So if you do have a part of the pattern where you're like, it doesn't make sense to me, she is very clear with it. If you are an experienced knitter, you've got everything you could need to use your skills in a unique way or change them just a little bit to create a new kind of garment. They're not boring for advanced knitters. It was really nice. I consider myself a constant intermediate. I still have so much to learn, and I'm always learning new things when it comes to knitting. Little less with crochet, but definitely with knitting, I'm constantly learning. As an intermediate knitter, I have to say I found joy in all the projects, and I really enjoyed the fact that they were just that little bit different. This is a luxury box, obviously, with the fibers that were included. This is not, inexpensive yarn by any stretch of the imagination. These are all very, very high quality yarns that we got. Absolutely beautiful. And it's funny because it actually, in the 3 months I did it, went from the least expensive retail value to most expensive, from the least expensive fiber value to the most expensive in the 3 months. So it for me, I just happened to pick the perfect 3 months to build into the experience even more. I love the fact that they give you the ability to buy the yarn at about what you're paying for it in the subscription box. So it's not, you get the yarn for $10 a hank, and if you want to buy more of it, you have to pay $15 instead of $20. It's closer to like you might pay $11 for it. The discount level really matched the value of what the cost of the box for that month. So that's a really nice touch that isn't mandatory or necessary necessarily, but it's a nice touch because to me, part of a subscription box is to try new things. And for me, I have to say, definitely got to try new things. Definitely got a nice variety of things. I didn't feel like this was stagnant at all. Not necessarily seasonally appropriate, but not unseasonal either. So yeah, if you have any further questions, I know for me, I'm just a rambler. It's a turn on the camera and start going kind of thing. But if you have any questions about, specifically about this box, if you have suggestions for future boxes, I'm assuming that was a cat making noises somewhere. Please leave a comment down below. As always, feel free to send me an email or a message on Instagram if you don't want to make if you don't want to make a public comment or ask a question in public. You can contact me privately through my email and through my Instagram. I will leave a link down below for Alpaca Direct's YouTube channel and for the direct link to the Kelly's Knit Club on their website. Yeah, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, I feel this is a 5 out of 5. And this is the closest I felt to something being perfect, meeting the expectations I had going in. And it's, it's those little things. It's things like having the yarn on sale, having alternative patterns available, even if it's a paid for pattern that I have to buy after the fact. Having something already prepared that I can make that choice for myself. That gives me options. The first 2 months, everything was free. There were just so many with that third month that some were paid for, some were free. I mean, like I said, it was like 12 to 14 different options. It was a huge variety in that list that you could pick from. Plus the pattern they already supplied you with. So little things like that go a long way. Everything that we got in the extras, they added a little bit of value, but it's not like they were resting on the extras for value or to continue. I definitely just inhaled fiber. They didn't add extras to the box to create added value. They were things that we were actually going to use with the patterns. In particularly, like having the little stitch markers is really, really nice for things like gloves. Bag is always useful. Highlighter tape. The repeat sections, actually, that would have been a really good place to use it in this pattern. But they didn't try to goose the value with these things. They knew the bag was only worth about $5. They knew the stitch markers were only worth about $5. They didn't add those in to give you the illusion that they were as valuable as the yarn. They added those in as what they are, extras. So those little things really, to me, set this box ahead of many of the other ones that I have really, really liked. The value on it, I think, is good, especially for a luxury box. What was our highest difference month? $25%. I did not write a percent down for that one. 30%. So I'm guessing we had two. It must have been the middle one. No, can't have been the middle one. Huh. Like I said, I write these notes as I go, so who knows what I was thinking 3 months ago when I wrote the first notes. Yeah, I just really, the people that this would appeal to are people who know how to knit and are ready to expand fiber. People who already know how to knit and want to expand fiber and skill build. People who are like me and sometimes just don't know what to do next, what project to work on next. You need an inspiration project. This is a cancel at will subscription box, which is fantastic. You don't have to sign up for 3 months. You don't have to sign up for 6 months. You can cancel at will. You can skip months. You can come back to it. There's no penalty for that. I'm sure they would prefer to know how much to order going in, so don't be rude, but there's no penalty if you decide to skip 3 months and come back. Sorry about that. I accidentally hit my remote. So yeah, I hate to give anything a perfect score. I don't think anything is necessarily perfect. But I think this is the closest I've gotten to seeing perfection in a club so far, especially when I look at the overall experience of making the projects, the joy of using the yarn, the value for it. Yeah, I and the extra benefits, the weird little things. I really, it's the difference between going to a good quality chain steakhouse and going to a good quality mom and pop restaurant that really wants your business. So they go that extra mile for the good quality service. They go that extra step to make sure everything's perfect. You're not expecting a, fine dining experience, but they definitely have those garnishes, those little extras that are really nice touches. They don't necessarily add value, but you're really glad they're there for when you do take advantage of them. So, I mean, I guess to be consistent, I should probably say it's a 4.5 out of 5, but I mean, this is pretty gosh darn perfect. I'm impressed. So I already did all my sign off stuff and then still sat here talking at you for another 5 minutes, but you guys have an amazing weekend. Hopefully this will be going out Saturday or Sunday. Let me know what you think, because I know there's a bias when you enjoy a product. I know there's a bias when you enjoy the project. And I genuinely enjoyed making all 3 of these projects so much that I could also just being biased. The math is 30% discount, which, my goal was 20. I think 20 is what you ought to get when you're taking a risk. And At least 20 if you're taking the risk on the product, especially if you don't know what you're going to get month to month. So I would like to hear your feedback on this, because I don't think I've really not wanted to give up subscription boxes, because the specialty dye yarns and things like that. But I don't think I've just had like the perfect experience before where there were this many moving parts to it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you all real soon. Love you guys.